This winter is fierce not only in Russia but in general. Our neighbors have more serious problems than ours. All 10 days of January, thermometers in Finland show real records with a minus sign. -40 is far from the limit. For example, in Suomi an absolute record of the century was recorded. At night the temperature dropped to -44.3 degrees. Putting all exaggerations aside, we can state that the situation in Finland is truly catastrophic. Pipes are bursting everywhere, there is a shortage of electricity, and in some regions, due to the cold, railway traffic has completely stopped. And this is not the end. Meteorologists warn that the rest of the winter will be as severe as possible. Now the frosts have receded, in some regions there is even a slight plus, but meteorologists are only talking about a respite. The critical situation of the Finns is primarily due to the severance of all relations with Moscow. Along with damaged relations, Finland stopped receiving cheap Russian electricity, which for many years successfully supplied most of the country's industrial facilities. Ordinary residents who paid a meager price for electricity also benefited. In 2022, Finland was warned that in the event of abnormal frosts, the energy infrastructure would not cope with the load and everything would end in disaster. Last year everything went quite calmly. The Finns even gloated, saying that everything was fine with them without Russia. And this year, more precisely, in the first days of January, everything that was predicted began to come true. Thus, on January 4th, thousands of residents of the southwestern part of Finland were left without electricity, railway traffic practically stopped, and several dozen regular buses had to be cancelled altogether. In the southern regions, 40-degree frosts were accompanied by strong winds, and it was truly unsafe to go outside. In addition, the price of light for the population has increased almost 5 to 6 times. In addition to power outages, dozens of cases of breaks in heating mains began to be recorded. Local services could not cope with such a flow of problems. As a result, people sat without light and heat for a long time. On the eve of warming, local utility workers were even more worried because with the arrival of heat, the pipes would melt and there would be even more damage. The Finns were among those who shouted loudest about the speedy defeat of Russia and its economic collapse. However, everything turned out exactly the opposite. Yes, things are not going smoothly for us either, especially if we take into account the situation in the Moscow region or the same prices for eggs. But still, if you look at the truth, we can conclude that our economy is stable and the situation as a whole is under control. But the same cannot be said about Finland. The Finnish economy was once considered one of the most successful in the region, but that was before. Now there is a deep decline in all industries and industries. With the loss of cheap Russian resources, mass bankruptcies and production stoppages began in Finland. In the last month of 2023 alone, almost 100 bankruptcy filings were filed from various businesses. No changes are expected in the near future either. Finns, as they say, live on credit. According to the Bank of Finland, in 2026 the country's national debt will reach as much as 80% of GDP. After the Finns joined NATO, the country's expenses increased several times. This also includes the recent agreement with the United States on military cooperation, within the framework of which military bases and airfields will be located in the country. And if expenses are growing rapidly, then income continues to decline just as rapidly to this day.